Hello friends and welcome back to the channel for another quick champion guide where today we are taking a look at Lumatrix. Now Lumatrix has been out for several months now, but I only recently had the opportunity to rank him up and really test him out. I found him really easy to kind of pick up and learn right away. The playstyle reminded me a lot of Viv Vision in that it's very easy for Lumatrix to avoid taking any damage at all in most matchups, and that really appealed to me. So we're going to go through two different rotations for Lumatrix today, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and answer the question, does Lumatrix need to be awakened? And I am happy to report here that the answer is no. Now the dupe will give him some extra survivability, but in terms of utility, in terms of his damage output, everything is kind of already loaded into his base kit, and the SIG is really more geared towards defensive purposes. So quickly, let's take a look at the signature ability itself, and there are two bullet points here to go through. The first one says that when a non-damaging debuff expires naturally on Lumatrix, he passively reduces damage by up to 60%. So Lumatrix has access to up to a 75% endurance, which means that non-damaging debuffs are going to expire on him very quickly. Now, notice here that there is no timer on this damage reduction, which means it's kind of intended for instant damaging effects like you would find on a Power Sting or even like a combo detonation, which we're seeing now in a defender like High Evolutionary. Now the second part of the SIG, again mostly geared towards defense, says that instant damaging effects have their ability accuracy reduced by up to 45%, and that is actually 90% against Science Champ. So this would be something like Jack-o'-lantern's Incinerates or Overseer's Retaliation damage. Not too useful offensively, but again, increases his survivability and his annoyance as a defender. Alright, with the SIG discussion out of the way, let's jump right into the gameplay. Alright, the very first thing that you need to know about Lumatrix is that when he charges his heavy, he gains a 100% chance to evade the next hit, and you can even charge this heavy while he's running in at the start of the fight. When evading, the defender will be stunned, and Lumatrix will go invisible for a short period of time. Worth noting here that functionally, you're going to be using this evade a lot like you would be using Scream's auto block, which makes a lot of sense because both champs were actually designed by the same person. After evading, you'll have an easy opening for a combo, and while invisible, the defender will be more aggressive, so they'll be inclined to try and hit you. Use this to get another opening and combo again. Now at this point, your invisibility will be close to over, or if not, the defender's special attack will remove it completely, and it will go on cooldown. However, you can instantly remove this cooldown by punishing a special attack, giving you another immediate opening to go invisible by charging your heavy. One rule of thumb that you want to keep in mind with Lumatrix is that when you have the evade available, it is always safe to charge your heavy as long as the opponent does not have a bar of power. So you can back off and charge the heavy, or you can full combo and end with a heavy charge, and the defender is going to hit right into it. Now, you may have noticed these yellow icons up here on the left, and these are an effect called Cunning. Cunning increases both your crit rate and your crit damage rate, and these stack up to 8. If you reach max stacks, all of Lumatrix's attacks will be guaranteed critical hits, and the goal here is to reach that cap before we cash out with his special attacks. From here, continue triggering your invisibility and punishing specials to remove the cooldown. Notice that I'm shortening my combo so that I can safely charge my heavy without pushing her above a bar of power, and that's always going to give me another guaranteed opening. Now you want to keep this up until you are either at 3 bars of power or within a combo of 3 bars of power, and this is where the fractured power bar is really going to come into play. Once you're ready to cash out, you want to trigger invisibility and then use your special one. This is going to grant you some extra cunning, and since you used it while invisible, it will also grant you an unblockable passive. Start mashing your special 2 so that you can fire it off before the defender can recover, and since you're unblockable, there's really nothing that they can do about it. You should be at or near max stacks of Cunning at this point, and if so, all of those special 2 hits are going to be G-crits. The special 2 grants you a Fury passive, and if you used it while unblockable like I've been showing, you'll also get a second Fury passive. Now at this point, you're basically fully ramped. You've got 2 huge Furies, you've got guaranteed crits, so your basic attacks will be hitting very hard, and you can go ahead and finish out the fight. Alright, let's take a look at that same fight in real time. I'm charging my heavy as I run in here to get the immediate evade. Full combo, let her hit into my invisibility again to get another opening. She's going to fire off the special 1. I'm going to punish it to remove the cooldown. That immediately gives me another opening to charge my heavy and evade. And I'm just going to rinse and repeat here until I get up to 3 bars of power or close to 3 bars of power. I think in this specific fight, I'm within a combo of 3 bars. So what I'm going to do here is charge my heavy to trigger invisibility, do a couple hits, fire off the special 1. That gives me an unblockable. Fire off the special 2 immediately. That gives me my guaranteed crits. And then here I'm fully ramped with my 2 Furies, max cunning for G crits, and I can just finish off the fight with some basic combos. So 0 damage taken there, about 40-ish seconds. Okay, I know that went really fast, so let's take a look at the rotation at a glance. So again, I'm charging my heavy as Lumatrix is running into the arena. That gives me an immediate evade at the start of the fight and a safe opening. And remember, it's always safe to use your evade as long as the defender is below a bar of power. If they use a special attack, your invisibility is gone and you're going to get hit. From there, full combo, you can use your invisibility to allow them to hit into it and get easy access to a second combo. And from there, you've probably pushed them above a bar of power. Let them use the special attack, punish the special attack to reset the cooldown for your evade, and kind of rinse and repeat from there. Remember, you can shorten your combos and immediately start charging your heavy attack in order to trigger an evade and kind of extend your combo with another easy opening. From here, build to 3 bars of power or very close to it, trigger invisibility, and then use your special 1 while you're invisible. That's going to trigger an unblockable passive. From there, start mashing your special 2, typically while the special 1 animation is going on. If you use it successfully, you're going to have your guaranteed crits if you're at max cunning, and then if you've used it while you are unblockable, you're also going to get that second big Fury passive. And from here, you are fully ramped. Your basic attacks are going to be hitting very, very hard. You can just kind of rinse and repeat until the fight is over. Okay, the second rotation I want to show you might be a lot easier to grasp and should be useful in a fight where you want to limit how often you're hitting the defender and how many specials you're baiting. And the best example for this is Photon. So here we have a rank 3 Lumatrix punching up against a rank 4 Photon on the CCP server. Now Photon is a unique problem for Lumatrix because she can hit him while he's invisible with her medium attacks. So what I'm doing here is I'm triggering my evade as usual, but instead of using a combo, I'm going to just use my heavy attack. Lumatrix applies a tracking passive when triggering the evade so he can safely counter Photon's phasing after stunning her. And then knocking her down with your heavy attack will also immediately remove that cooldown timer, so you can just kind of do this on repeat. All the while you're gaining additional stacks of cunning. Keep doing this, and the goal here is to build up to your special 2. Notice here also that since we are sticking to heavies, that means we aren't using any light attacks, which means we are avoiding most of the debuffs that Photon will typically be placing on you via her signature ability. Now, once you're up at the special 2, trigger the evade one more time, fire off your special 2 with those guaranteed crits, and then you can strike or intercept and use your basic combos to call it a day. So again, that was punching up against a rank 4 Photon, again taking 0 damage in roughly 60 seconds. Alright, let's go ahead and review what I'll call the heavy rotation. So again, as you're running into the arena, you want to charge your heavy so that you have that immediate evade, but instead of full comboing, you want to just use the heavy, and that heavy knockdown is going to also reset your evade cooldown. And then from here, you just kind of want to rinse and repeat. And again, the goal here is to limit the number of hits that you're applying to the defender, which in turn is going to limit the number of specials that you're going to have to dex. And in a matchup against a champ like Photon, that is really, really valuable. So keep doing this until you are above 2 bars of power, trigger the evade, fire off your special 2, and at this point, you are likely at or close to your max stacks of cunning, so you're probably going to get a bunch of guaranteed crits on that special 2. From here, you probably have your striker available, so you can strike or intercept, and then full combo to finish the fight. So, despite Lumatrix being pretty much a nuke champ, he still has a surprising amount of utility. It's just that it's a bit more niche than other champs. So, I want to show you a few examples of what I'm talking about before we end the guide. One of the areas where Lumatrix is really going to shine is in any matchup where you don't want to block at all. And in this way, he really is kind of like the skill Viv Vision. So this will be especially useful against nodes like Conflictor or Masochism, but also against some champs as well. I'm going to show you 2 examples of that here. So first off, we have this Annihilus, where if you parry him, if you block him, you get those annoying stifles on you, and then he goes unstoppable when you dash back. But with Lumatrix, we just get our opening safely via the evade, and he literally cannot touch us. Makes this fight very, very easy. The second example here is Absorbing Man, and I realize that he doesn't yet exist as a 7-star, but he still will be a 7-star in quests and other content. So this again is a champ where you really don't want to take hits on your block, especially if you're letting him refine his form, because he can apply those crits through your block, and also his burst damage will trigger through your block as well. Just really, really dangerous to take blocked hits from him. Worth noting here in this specific matchup that you can actually out-damage a 7-star rank 4 Absorber Man's regen with Lumatrix. So again, similar to that Photon fight, this is only a rank 3 Lumatrix, and you're seeing we are just plowing right through his physical resistance with our critical hits, so it really doesn't matter if he's in that Uru form or not. Our crits are going to bypass all of that resistance, and you can see we're just plowing right through his health pool. Regen be damned. Alright, the last example of the utility I want to show you is his Endurance, which makes him very good for nodes and champs that punish Purify, for nodes that place debuffs on you, and against champs like Leader here who place severe debuffs. It's very easy to get all 3 of your stacks of Endurance up, and once you do, those debuffs have a 75% less duration. So notice here how quickly Leader's debuffs are expiring off of us. Leader gets stacks of protection for every debuff on you, so getting them to expire quickly is very important to increasing our overall damage output against him. Now, Leader, not a very popular, strong defender. However, the idea of severe debuffs is really kind of catching on with newer champs. So I foresee Lumatrix being very useful for future science defenders who are going to be placing these annoying debuffs on you that cannot be purified, that cannot be cleansed. That's going to do it for another champion guide, folks, and I sincerely hope it was helpful to you. If it was, be sure to press that like button for me, and make sure to share this video with your friends, with your alliance mates, anybody who is just getting started with Lumatrix. If you've made it this far into the guide, please leave me a comment below that says Lumatrix are for kids, and as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.